Are you a consultant and you want to know how to market your consulting business? Well, you're in the right place. All of my clients provide some type of coaching or consulting, and what they hire me for is I help them really leverage YouTube to generate leads. Now, there's a lot of different ways you can market your business, and we're going to talk about the pros and cons of each of these, and then I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty of my strategy, and you'll really know, is this the right strategy for me? But even beyond that, you'll know tactically exactly what to do to generate leads for your consulting business. So let's dive right in. Now, of all the 50 plus channels that I produce, there are a variety of businesses that are on there, but consulting is one of the best things that you can sell or offer on YouTube. Or a better way of saying that is, like, if you're leveraging YouTube to generate leads, one of the best things you can sell to that audience is consulting. Now, the good news is you're not going to have to worry about low quality leads or anything like that. And you don't have to worry about pressuring people. In fact, people don't feel like they're being sold to with the system I'm going to teach you. So let's dive right in. We're going to start with this chart. I've got the pros and cons of paid advertising and organic, and I think it's helpful to kind of understand the pros and cons of each. Okay, so with paid, it's very, very fast, and it's really easy to scale things up, okay? And you can target things. I mean, like on Facebook ads, you're given different audiences. You can put in different parameters of demographics, and you can create several different audiences, and you can compare those audiences, and so over time, it can really help you to figure out who to target. And now it's very, very iterative, meaning you can make changes and tweaks really, really easily and really fast. So if you tried something yesterday and you want to try something different today, something different tomorrow, it's really easy to iterate and make those changes. And split testing even goes above and beyond that, because you can have two items competing against each other. Let's say you've got a page that's red and a page that's green. You can see which one performs better. You compare this video to that video. You can compare different headlines and things like that to see what's going to catch their attention. So because you can do all of these things, you learn a lot and you can create a working campaign relatively fast. And the different ad platforms give you a lot of data in their reporting that allow you to be able to tweak and fine-tune all of these things. Okay, so what about the cons? Well, the big one is cost, right? It can be really expensive, and up front, any money that you put into it, don't expect to get a return, or don't expect to get that money back, because you're going to be learning and experimenting. But over time, you should start to break even and then start to be profitable. When you're profitable, that's when you can really scale it up. Okay, and I have a lot of colleagues that have talked to me about the amount of money that they spend on this paid advertising, and it's to the tune of $300,000 or $400,000 a month. I don't know what's special about that number, but many of my colleagues are kind of right in that range, and the amount of revenue that they bring in is maybe only $100,000 above that. So let's say you're spending $400,000 in ad costs, but you're bringing in $500,000 in revenue, so you're making $100,000 a month in profit. If you were to do that for a full year, so 12 months, you would have spent somewhere around $5 million in revenue, and this is temporary. If you stop paying ads, your leads stop. So all that investment that you put into advertising, it's just temporary, okay? Also, your different pieces of content, your videos, your posts, your images, your banners, they have a shelf life. They're only going to work for a certain amount of time, and after a while that return diminishes, and so you've got to create new copy, new videos, new ads. To do all this, there's a big learning curve. I mean, as you're iterating, as you're split testing, figuring out your target audience, there's a lot in there to learn, and so it is kind of complex, and it's going to take you a while to really learn and master this. Now, when this is really cranking, you're going to have a high quantity of leads, but you're going to really have to filter through those, because it's a real quality batch of leads that you're going to generate. Only a small percentage of those are going to become customers. Let's talk about the pros of organic marketing, okay? So it's very, very cost effective. And we can talk about, if you're saying doing a video campaign on YouTube, you can have expensive gear, you can hire the top-notch, Steven Spielberg filming team, but you can also film these on your phone. There's not going to be a whole lot of difference in the amount of lead generation depending on your equipment. And to launch these things on YouTube, you don't have to pay for that, so it becomes very, very cost effective. Now, let's talk about evergreen. You might have heard of that term before. That means that these things are long lasting. Where these things are temporary, you can do a campaign on YouTube, and let's say in a month, you're generating a certain amount of results. On the next month, you're going to launch another campaign, Now you've got both campaigns that are running at the same time. After 6 months, now you've got 6 campaigns that are still running, and it's never going to stop. So you get 6 years down the road. Now you've got 6 years of campaigns. So you're really building a lot of momentum. It just grows bigger and bigger. Now with a paid ad campaign, let's say you're spending a budget of $400,000 a month and you're bringing in $100,000 a month. Year after year, you're going to keep spending that same budget and you're going to keep getting that same return. I mean, you're going to have to work at it to keep it getting that same return because of the disadvantages of shelf life and whatnot. Whereas on YouTube, if you got yourself to a point where you had $100,000 of return, if you keep launching more campaigns and creating more and more content for YouTube, that return is going to grow over time and you're going to just continually add to that momentum. Now, when it's organic, people don't feel like they're being sold to. In fact, you're giving to them, you're serving them, you're giving them value, you're answering their questions, and they feel like they get to know you, and you build a relationship of trust with them. So when they become a lead, when you're having a conversation with them, it's not like these cheap, low-quality leads that you get from paid traffic. It's like a referral quality because they know you, they like you, they already trust you. They want to work with you. You just need to answer some of their questions and explain how your programs work. Okay, so organic and cons. What's a disadvantage of organic? The big one is that it takes time, right? You have to be patient with this process. You can launch a campaign now, but you're really not going to see the full momentum of that for 3, 4, or 5 months from now. When I launch a video on YouTube, it might be bringing in a trickle of traffic, and it's super valuable, but it might only generate a few leads per month, right? And so over time, you've got to launch more and more of this to where it really builds a massive momentum. Now with targeting, most people would say that this doesn't work so well on organic marketing. The way that I do it is really targeted. So this is actually a pro or an advantage for me, the organic marketing that I do on YouTube. And reporting, it's not as good as up here, but you can put things in place so that you know where your leads are coming from, but you just have to set these things up yourself. So it's not built in. Like when you do Facebook advertising here, all the reporting, all the tools, all the data is right there for you. So now let's get specific to you and your consulting business. How do you bring in organic traffic like this? Well, did you know that there are actually people searching for you? They're going to Google and YouTube, and these are people who've never heard of you before. So they're not typing in your name, but they are searching for what you have to offer. They're searching for your consulting advice, okay? They go to Google and YouTube and they type in a question that you would be the perfect person to answer. So let me show you what you can do here. I'm going to grab this question, how to scale my business. And I'm using this tool called the Keyword Magic tool. I'll paste that in there. And by the way, you can get a free trial of this tool if you go to herokeywordtool.com. All right, so let me hit search. Take a look at this, how to scale my business, or how to scale up my business, how to scale up my e-commerce business, or how to scale up my plumbing business. So there's a sneak peek into some of the questions that people are asking about scaling up your business. I'm going to try something else, but instead of feeding it with a question, I'm just going to put in churn rate and see what questions people are asking about churn rate. In fact, I'll turn on the questions button and I'm going to come over here. I mean, you see lots of questions that have huge search volume. What is churn rate? How to calculate it? You can come here to word count filter and turn this up to 8 words. Let's just see if we find something. What is a good churn rate for SaaS, software as a service? What's the average churn rate for a SaaS company? How to calculate annual churn rate from monthly churn? How to calculate churn rate from retention rate? So these questions are amazing, and you look at this column here, and as long as this number says 10 or above, you know you've found some low-hanging fruit. If you're the expert and can answer this question, then you can make a video answering this question, and when you put it on YouTube, guess what will happen? People will go to Google or YouTube and they'll type in this question. We see it right here. This question gets searched 30 times every single month. So these 30 people that spell it this exact way, they're going to find your video and it's going to pop up and they're going to say, oh, that's exactly what I was searching for. So they're going to watch this video all the way to the end and they're going to build that relationship of trust with you. At the end of the video, you're going to offer them a gift. A lead magnet is what we call it. So they'll go to your website, they'll get your free gift, whether it's a download or a course or a free plus shipping book or something like that. And now they're on your email list and you can invite them to have a strategy session. You can say, hey, would you like to chat? Here's a link to my calendar. Okay, now you have got to see this. This is from one of my clients. This is Noelle Randall's spreadsheet. She teaches real estate investing. And I did some keyword research for her to find questions. And you'll notice that these questions are grouped according to branches. I use a tree analogy. So like the trunk of the tree is the word real, and then it branches off to the word estate, investor, and find. So every question here has those 4 words, real estate, investor, find. And there's a branch right next to it, real estate, investor, become. So all of these questions have those 4 words in there. Now when I showed these 2 branches to Noelle, she says, you know what, now that I see them this way, this first branch, the find branch, that's not my target audience. I don't want to show up when people search for those questions. But when she looked at the become branch, real estate investor become, she says, every one of these is so fantastic. This is my target audience. I want to rank at the top of YouTube for every single one of these questions. So we got excited. We wanted to see what is Noelle's current ranking on YouTube. Now I've been producing her channel for several years, and so we were actually hoping to find some that we haven't covered yet. So what we did is we took each of these questions, we put it into the YouTube search bar, and check to see if we found her, okay? Now, look at the column on the right, it's February 10th, and if it says yes, that means that we found Noelle at the top. She's in the top 3 videos on YouTube for that search. If it says starting, that means we had to scroll down a bit, but we did find her somewhere in the top 20. And if it says no, that means we didn't find her when we did that search. So for this branch that is not her target audience, she actually has a good amount of traction already. But for the branch that we colored green there, this is her target audience and she wants to dominate it. When we check the results on February 10th, you'll see that it's mostly no's, only 2 yeses on this whole branch. But you'll see the second to last column is filming date. We started filming episodes answering each of these questions. So we filmed a variety of them in February, a few more in March, a few more in April. And when we check the rankings in April, you'll see that we turned 2 yeses into 8 yeses. And on May 16th, we had even more. And on July 3rd, even more yeses, to where the majority of this branch is now a yes. So now Noelle dominates this branch. I want you to get these same results on YouTube, and I've created a mini course called the YouTube Lead Gen Blueprint. I teach a 5-ingredient strategy. It's very tactical. And when you start to implement these steps, you'll start to turn your no's into yeses as well on YouTube, and you'll learn how to take these views and take this ranking on YouTube and turn that into lead generation for your business. This course is only $17. Just go to youtubeleadgen.net, pay the $17, take the course, and start taking action to generate leads for your consulting business. I'll see you there.